what you notice is that it all happens. Did that really look like the path of least resistance to you? Really? Do you struggle in everything in life?
Okay.
Good enough?
Great, perfect, awesome. Thank you for having us. Appreciate it.
Your time's up.
Damn. All right. Basically, I'm working on, or I've attracted a lot of success with my own business, and with my own company, and it's a little bit overwhelming because it's a whole new leadership position.
And you think you're the law of attraction and the stage manager.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not, you're the pointer.
Mm-hmm.
That was easy.
Okay, well,
in other words, what makes things feel overwhelming is imprecise focus, or making things that really aren't your business, or trying to make too many things your business all at the same time. If you understand how law of attraction works, and you just delegate it and let it go, and delegate it and let it go, then time crunch stops happening. We'll listen to you. Give us some details and we'll walk through this a little bit. We'll show you how to make some easy existing matches.
Yeah, I started out with writing my own comic book series, and it became really popular. You know, I got a TV deal, and then I started attracting lots of investors who wanted to build upon me making a company with other writers and creators. And so I attracted an amazing group of writers to publish their own comic books.
Yes.
And this is a great thing, but they all say, hey, we want you to work on each of our books and co-write it with us. And
well, slip in the shower and hurt your back, and then you'll have justification to say no. You won't have any split energy. If you disable yourself to the point that you can't reach the remote control without a hook, then you'll be able to say, do your thing. We're not kidding you. So let's sort this out a little bit. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like they need you to succeed?
I don't think they do. I think they're great on their own.
But what if you collaborating with them would make it better for you and for them? Does it feel to you like sometimes that you're in their bag of marbles and they're in your bag of marbles, and this is a sort of meant to be thing? Sometimes it feels that way in a strong way, doesn't it? But when there get to be a lot of them, how could it be that way? So we're just poking at you a little bit here before we say these words. What feels like the path of most allowing? Someone said, could Esther heal people? And he might say to you, can this man make people famous? Can this man make people successful? And the answer that we gave him about Esther is, Esther wants to teach, be the embodiment of alignment that then brings everything that they want. And that's what you want too. You want to teach through the clarity of your example. When you collaborate in really intense ways, sometimes you send a message you don't mean to send, which is something like, I'm going to help you out because I think you need my help and you can't do it without me, which is the opposite of what you want to do, which is what's causing you to feel split energy. You attracted them because they're a vibrational match to you. And you can feel what activities or what things that you consider doing aren't a vibrational match. You can feel that. That's when you feel that discord. And you're calling that overwhelmment. We're calling it guidance. If it feels like that, don't even try to do it. If it feels like that, don't even try to do it. Follow the impulses that feel like fun. Follow the impulses where you say, oh man, there's this and this and this, but that's what I really want to do. Do that. Because that one's wide open, all the energy's flowing, you're being called, and think back. That's where it started. Think about when you started receiving those ideas for that comic book series. There was no confusion because it was just you and inspiration. You're not the law of attraction and you're not the inspiration from them. You are an example of what alignment and success is. And your success is certain and expanding, and everyone wants a piece of that. But When it feels to you like everyone wants a piece and that you're this finite piece and everyone wants a piece, and so then you're being diminished, that's one way to look at it, but it's not the way your inner being looks at it. Here's the story we want to tell you. This will speak to it exactly. You're going to really like this. A woman sat in the hot seat talking about her current husband who had an ex-wife. And every time they made more money, his ex-wife went to the court and petitioned for more money. So this woman is really worried because she thinks they can't get ahead, because every time they get a little bit ahead, this other person takes more. And we said, ooh, we wish he had 10 ex-wives. She was shocked. We said, because as each of them is calling through him to them, how much does she get? 50%? Then instead of you all being left with 50% of just what one is calling, now you get 50% of what 10 are calling. This is real, because it's not a finite talent or a finite contract or a finite idea. It's infinite. And so as you understand that you are a catalyst, you are a point of attraction, but that the more of them who are collaborating with you and the better it feels to you in the collaboration, then the bigger your point of attraction is. And we promise you, there's enough of you to go around, because it's the inner you that really knows how to point and uplift and recognize you're good at that. You are good at working on your own, but you are a good collaborator because you care about people and because you want them to have success. And wouldn't you say this is true about you? We know it for sure. When people thrive, you love it. And you're not a I need to get the credit for everything person at all. In fact, you're the opposite of that. You're eager to point to, well, aren't you? Aren't you?
Yes, yes.
Well, we know it, but you were looking at us weird and we wanted them to know that you knew it. Because one of the things that happens when people listen to a conversation like this is that they think, Abraham, you're teaching selfishness. And we say, yes, we are. Because if you're not selfish enough to calibrate to your whole, then you don't have anything to give anyone anyway. And so in this process of teaching selfishness, we want you to understand that they all have a bag of marbles, and your bags of marbles are tied together, not just physically, but inner beingly. In other words, a lot of these people that you're meeting up with, you had plans before any of you even got into these bodies, and you can feel that. And some of them that feel like the biggest trouble are those that have the strongest desires that they're crossways of, that make you sort of want to shake loose of them. Once you're no longer crossways of them, you will discover the power that is within the collaboration of your non-physical vortices. That makes sense to you? We know that was a convoluted way of saying it. So now, pretend like you just came up here the hard way and sat down in this hot seat. And ask your question again now that we've laid this basis. No, you don't have to do that. You don't have to go that far. Wait, that was the pretend part. Now you're here. Now you're here.
Okay.
But now from your now point of view, because you took all of that in. In other words, there wasn't anything we said that you didn't integrate right into what you know, because you weren't far from what we know to begin with. So now, knowing that, how do you feel about the subject of overwhelmment? Is it even a thing right now?
No.
I think you were talking to some guy who's from Australia, who's a motorcycle mechanic, and I just wanted his phone number.
Talk to the girls, but they won't give it to you.
I know. So I guess the other thing I've been thinking about is...
On occasion.
Yeah. So I work with mostly women, a lot of women, which is fine, generally.
Our thoughts and prayers are with you.
Yeah. Thank you. Sometimes they schedule things at work, like a baby shower, for example. And you don't have to bring a gift if you don't want to. You don't have to bring food if you don't want to. But I feel really obligated to. And then I really feel uncomfortable if I speak up. as if I'm exerting male privilege, if you will.
Or just disagreement. In other words, when you feel uncomfortable, it means that your perspective is different from your inner being's. And so you have to kind of mess around with this a little bit to figure out what the real discomfort is. Is the discomfort because you're being expected to do something that you really don't want to do? Is the discomfort, that's what you think it is, but the reason you feel uncomfortable is because your inner being doesn't hold the same perspective. So let's see if we can sort out what those perspectives might be. Your inner being doesn't push against anything for any reason. So when you do push against anything for any reason, you're right away out of sync with your inner being. You've been calibrating to humans. That's why we were playing, because women kind of demand it from everybody. They're more interested in you being interested in what they're interested in. And again, not fair to put everybody in the same basket because people are different. But your inner being likes that they're having a party and likes that they're having a good time and thinks it's wonderful if people want to go and go, and thinks it's wonderful if people don't want to go and don't go. But here's what happens with so many humans that differs from inner being perspective. Go to the party and line up with it, or don't go to the party and line up with that. But don't go and not line up. Don't not go and feel guilty, and don't go and feel pushed around. Make a decision and just keep pointing that way. So you could say, I really like these people, and I'm really glad that they're having a baby, and I really like that there are people excited about it, and I really like that there are people excited about having babies, and I don't mind that I'm not one of them. The more you have opportunities to clarify for yourself by paying attention, by feeling yourself into alignment with your inner being, the more you will get your best attraction from everyone you meet. We're not going to say to you, they don't care if you come or go, because they like you. And so, of course, they'd like you. And when you like somebody, it's a human thing you do. You want them to like what you like. It's like, here, taste this. No, I don't like it. No, taste it. You'll really like this. No, I've never liked that. I throw up every time I eat that. I don't want that. No, taste that. This is different. It's like people want to be validated by you liking what they like. But every time you let them be validated by going along with them, you teach them to calibrate away from their own inner being and to calibrate to other humans. You're leading them down a path that will make them ornerier and ornerier as times go by. And in time, you'll hear people say about you, I really like that guy. He stuck to his guns about things. If they were in this audience, they would use references like, didn't seem to have split energy. I never felt obligated to him. In other words, just clear air. You just want to be clear air. Yeah?
Yeah.
Something else?
No, I'm just thinking that the woman who's going to have the baby is someone who also is a motorcycle rider and has invited me to ride with her, so it would be good to get with that.
Your marbles in your bag match up with all kinds of things. When you have a really good match, never ask your bag to match perfectly with any other bag. That's not going to happen. That's how varied you all are. But how about a moment in time where you're matched up on that? Because you're so focused. You see, can you feel that the key is not to be going this way, this way, this way, this way yourself? The more you're this way, this way, this way, this way, the more you hold steady with your marbles, and then you match up with others. And you have lots of fantastic relationships. Yeah, really good.
Yeah.
Enough?